Hello everybody, and welcome to our Wednesday morning live stream, where we will continue sculpting PewDiePie. As long as my stream's going out live and you guys can hear me. And it looks like we are all good to go, so cool. If you did not join us yesterday, we started, whoa, what's going on here? We started sculpting a stylized version of PewDiePie. And yeah, today I'm going to be working more on the likeness now that we have a lot of the parts and pieces in here. I would also like to do a little bit of a sweatshirt or something for him. We'll see how it goes and how much time we have. But yeah, we're just going to chill out, do some sculpting. Feel free to ask any questions or just creep in the background. That's what most people do. That's what I do, so I don't mind. Let me clean up this scene really quick and just delete a couple things. I sculpted this last night on the Pixelogic ZBrush channel. If you guys want to check that out, that'll be uploaded to YouTube in the next day or so. Let me delete that though. And same thing for the original sculpt here. If you guys want to see this from the very beginning, from scratch, started with a sphere and got up to this point. That is also going to be up on my YouTube channel in the next couple days or so. Other than that, yeah, I think we're ready to go ahead and get started. I have the wrong image imported here. I believe I saved the spotlight. Let's see. Let's load up here. Ooh, I did not. Okay, so I use the spotlight tool for reference images. So let me just re-import couple images here, and one more. Oh, okay, cool. It just added that. That was weird. Sure. Alright, so this guy, he's just gonna go off screen. I don't need him. We can scale these down quite a bit. And I'll just put those up there. And I'll be a little OCD here as I align those. Alright, so at the end of our stream yesterday, I did a little bit of extra work here. One second. Cool. So I did a couple extra subtools here. I started adding in the base for just the shortest level of the hair, and we'll probably modify that a little bit. I also started to add in, I just have some slices of geometry for what will be a mustache and a beard once we extrude that, and we can play with that shape more. And then I started to add in what would be a hood for a sweatshirt very quickly. I spent like 5 extra minutes on this, so if you guys have any questions about those processes, I will gladly answer whatever I can. So I think the first thing I want to do is try extruding and cleaning up this geometry, because I think this will really help lean into the likeness quite a bit more. So let's just inflate that a little bit. And there is probably a little bit of cleanup that we want to do. So you can use the extraction method in ZBrush. It works pretty well. It's just right under your tool subtool menu. It's great. I like using it, but I don't like how you have to fiddle with some of the settings in there to get the exact thickness that you need. By default, it's really thick, so that's way too thick. I mean, we can sit here and play with the settings. It won't be the end of the world, but the geometry isn't super clean either. So we're gonna try cleaning this up, because you guys know I love clean geometry. So there are a few different tactics we can do. I say we add in a groups loops, and this will help clean up the edge here so it's not so jagged. And what that will do is make our Ziri mesh a little bit more clean around the edge. Hopefully. Normally when you do this, it without doing the edge loop, it'll kind of break the geometry. So we'll do that. That's just way too high poly for what I wanted to do here, so let's do like 1. By default, that's set to 5. Let's just lower that quite a bit. Yeah, I think we'll stick with that for now, and then we can make some more changes to that later. So from here we want to add thickness, of course, so we'll use the Z modeler brush, our poly modeling tool, and extrude our polygons. And I'll just do a simple thickness here, and let's say flip our normals as well. Do a quick smooth here, see how that's shaping up. It's still pretty messy. If we look at the edges here, kind of all over the place. We should be able to fix that, clean it up with a little bit of remeshing later on. But for now, let's just come through and, you know what? I was gonna crease some edges, but I think I'll just leave it how it is now, and maybe we can do some more work to this later on. Let's continue just jumping around, getting some more parts and pieces in here. For the mustache, this is the basic shape that I have right now. I have a feeling this and the beard will probably change as we move forward. But let's go ahead and do the same thing that we did to the beard. Oh, so on the remesh there, see how the edge is still staying super jagged? That is because we did not do our edge loops. So our group loops function. And then we can Z remesh that, hopefully. Get a little bit of a cleaner edge there. Very, very high poly. Let's go a little bit lower. Perfect. A little bit of an extrude. And I don't know, I think we'll inflate that a little bit. Oh, where are you going? Ah, our normals. We need to flip those. Alright, so we got some simple shapes in here. I think what I want to do is try to get the actual facial shape and the hair blocked out so that we can start getting a little bit closer to the likeness. What's going on, Beckert? Yosh! Yosh is right. Welcome, welcome. So, I think the head needs to be a little bit more squared off. And I think the hair will really help sell this character as well as being PewDiePie. So to do the hair, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep this like little base mesh on top and then duplicate that and just insert a sphere on top of his head. I like to use spheres for blocking out most objects. It's just a good way, or you know what? Instead of that, here, I take that back. We will just use the base hair that we have here. What we'll do is we'll turn off symmetry, and we're just gonna start sculpting directly on top of this. Let's make sure that we add some subdivs so that's actually possible. So to start, let's see. Let's just start with a clay tubes brush, I think, and start getting some of the major volume in here. Maybe even use a move backface masking brush and start pushing and pulling some geometry around. So the break in the hair, or the hairline, as it's more commonly called, I guess, is right in that top right corner, or his top left corner. So we'll have to get that in. Let's just continue to get some more volume though, before we do that. And carry this through, and then maybe use something like a damn standard-esque brush to start carving in around our curve here. Shapeshifter, what's going on? And thank you for the follow. How you doing, man? Let's get all the way down here through the back and continue to shape this up. So again, just using my clay tubes brush to get some more volume in here. And the directionality of my strokes, maybe a little bit later on, will be important. Right now, it's, you know, we're just trying to get some of that volume in there. Not the end of the world if we don't have this perfect. Especially when you're in that early blockout stage, it's just, you know, try to get it in there first, and then you can worry about proportions and everything else. It's not going anywhere. And then I'm thinking I'll probably, at least for this part of the hair, this part that we're starting to pull out, I'll probably delete a good chunk of this. Probably something like that. and then we'll kind of continue to flow that through there. But we got an issue, we got a big hole in our mesh, so we need to close that up. Probably just use a Dynamesh. And then I think for this I'm going to split the hair into two separate pieces. So let's grab one half of the split here. Not a great selection. Alright, we'll make those two separate objects and also Dynamesh them individually. Oh, got some floaters. Get rid of those. Alright, so from here, let's just pull down a little bit and start to shape this up. And again, we're keeping this pretty messy at this stage. I have a feeling that this is going to taper up a little bit more as it rolls around to the back of the head, which is fine. We'll try to do some stuff with blending for sure. Let's see. Let's just keep it the way it is for now, and once we get some of the rest of this figured out, we'll take another stab at that. Alright, so let's start, or go back, not start, but go back to our clay tubes brush and start getting some more volume in. As well as our move brush to get that basic curve. I think we'll have to adjust our underlying hair, our hair piece that we have created. Oops. And let's go a little bit longer here, and we'll probably do the same thing, taper up into a shape that kind of like blends into the rest of the hair up top. Need this to look good from all angles, of course. Let's go ahead and remesh this and make it easier to work with. 'Cause right now we're a little too high poly for my liking. But welcome, I see that there are some more people joining us now. How you guys doing? Welcome to the stream. If you don't know who I am, I'm Follygon, and we are sculpting a stylized version of PewDiePie today. Started yesterday on a little bit of a base, so if you guys want to check that out, that's up on my YouTube channel. There's a link somewhere down below where all the streams get uploaded. I think we want quite a bit more volume here up top. A little bit more of a swoop. And then what we can do is just fill some of this in, so we get the direction of that feeling a little bit better, and wrap that a little bit more forward. And let's see. I will adjust this shape just a little bit, kind of push it back so that we can't see it quite as well. Underlying hair. Mainly just used for the sides and backs, but we'll see. We'll see how this works out. And let's remesh this side piece of hair as well. A little bit messy, so I'll run a quick smooth on that. Also, let me turn off this texture so it doesn't affect our brushes. The reason why I do this, I'm Z-remeshing and Dynameshing and jumping back and forth between the two all the time. Dynamesh is great for just kind of building up form really quick and, you know, getting some messy stuff on your canvas. It's great for concepting and just working quick. Z-remesher is awesome for just some quick, clean topology. You're not going to get, you know, animation ready topology out of it, but you will get something pretty workable and pretty clean. You'll definitely get something that is sculptable. And that's pretty much all that I need. Something that has enough or good enough flow that I can sculpt with it. Let's see here. Let's rotate around a little bit, probably add in a couple subdivs so we can start working this shape a little bit more accurately, get some more polys in there. Same here for the side. A couple more subdivs and probably work on the hairline here as well. Didn't do a great job the first try on that. Alright. And I think the next stage of this will be working on volume and blending. For instance, I don't want a super hard edge back here. I probably want to blend this pretty nicely so that it feels a little bit more seamless. We'll have to work on that. What I'll probably end up doing for at least this piece on the side is merging this with the underlying geometry here and then kind of blend between those two. Dasan, what's going on, man? As well as Hawk. How you guys doing? Looking good, thank you. And thank you for the host there, Hawk. Appreciate that. Alright, so next up, like I said, I think we can do some sculpting on top of this. Try to get a little bit more volume and directionality. We're definitely getting, let's see, just a plane change here. So it comes up this way. And then kind of like flips over itself. We just want to get some of this direction in there. Let our vocal cords die. And then essentially this is just to help me figure out the plane change that's happening. Hair is pretty complex, and sculpting something to look like hair, never really easy. Definitely takes quite a bit of time investment. I'm not really trying to get the texture in right now, but more so just a simple form to represent what I'm seeing here. And if we're just looking at that, just seeing the gap between his brow and how much taller his forehead is than what we currently have. That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about proportionally that I would like to change. So PewDiePie has a 5 head, or maybe even a 6 head. He's got a long face. We'll get some more room in there for the rest of this. Not that having a long face is a bad thing. There we go. Starting to get some more of this shape in there. Feeling a little bit better. And then just rotating back, taking a look at all different angles here. This starts to, like as we come up through here, it starts to wrap back down. And I think I would prefer this more so just being a little bit more straight. And maybe even a little bit asymmetrical, so a little bit of a more interesting blend slash break into the hair there. On the side here, there's probably not too much that I want to do, just a little bit more volume maybe. If even that much. Let's see, it looks like the break is maybe like right there, so. Doing okay. How am I doing? I'm doing awesome, man. Of course. Sculpting in ZBrush. You guys know me. As long as I'm here in ZBrush, I'm happy. Streamed again today and gave you a shout out. Well, thank you, man. That's really cool. When were you streaming? I don't know what time zone you're in, so I'm in the Eastern US time zone, if that helps figure stuff out. I will definitely come swing by if I can on the next time you're on. Come check it out. See what you're working on. I know you do a ton of stuff with 3D printing. Just checking out your YouTube channel the other day. Becker, trying to constrain yourself so I can concentrate. Well, I appreciate it. I'm really bad at paying attention to chat and, well, maybe not really bad, but it's hard to pay attention to chat and sculpt at the same time. Not that you should. Just creep around in the background. Feel free to yell at me and ask questions. I don't mind. It's kind of why I stream. Hang out, ask some, or answer some questions, and just get some sculpting done. Whoa, geez. That was not what I wanted. Working while lurking. That is like the motto of the art channel on Twitch. Working and lurking. Actually, that's more of just the motto of Twitch. I'm gonna try getting a little bit of a more distinct break right here. Like I said, the hair and clothing I think will really add to the likeness here, as well as, you know, polypaint, some color. All that will add to the likeness. I'm trying to work on the underlying features, though, that will be a little bit more difficult to change later on. So, I think for just blocking out that hair, that'll be a good direction for now. And now we should look at a couple other things, just to make this feel more like PewDiePie and his facial type. Got more of a square face, more of a blocky face. And you know, for the style that we're doing, everything is typically a little bit more rounded. And I think there's some stuff that we could change to make this look a little bit more like him, so that without telling anybody, somebody could look at this and say, oh, that's PewDiePie. So let's go into Transpose Master and try doing some changes here all at once. You are in GMT UK. Streamed from 12:30 to 2 p.m. yesterday. 12:30, so that would be, I think you're 3 or 4 hours ahead of me, I believe. So that would have been, I think, a little bit. That would have actually been, I think, while I was streaming on the Pixelogic ZBrush channel yesterday. You will be live again tomorrow morning. When I wake up, I will definitely come check it out, man. Either here or on YouTube. Yeah, trying to make the transition from YouTube to Twitch was definitely a process. What's going on, Inky? Nostrils could go wider. That might help a little too. That is not a bad idea. He definitely has a super wide nose. I was playing around with that yesterday, and I don't know, I was like, it's starting to look bad. But that is not a bad suggestion. Let's try it right now while we're here. How are you doing, by the way? Let's maybe just try a overall stretch. I don't want it to get super unappealing, so we'll do a little bit of stretch in there. He's got a pretty wide nose. I talked about this schnoz enough yesterday to last a lifetime. But that, and then it's a little bit angled. It's got a little bit of a V shape to it. Oh, how did the interview go, by the way? You said you had an interview later on in the day with Nintendo. How'd that go, dude? Whoa. Odd? Maybe? Odd01. Thank you so much for the subscription. That's really cool of you. I appreciate that a lot. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why so many people are subscribing. But I appreciate it. Welcome, man. Welcome to the stream. Heard nachos instead of nostrils? Oh god. Gotta make these nachos more wide. That's right. Alright, so the next thing is to make the head taller. Oh boy. So let's just go loop-de-loop here. And that was so weird. I've never seen that before. I selected an edge loop and it selected it on 2 different objects. That normally doesn't happen. Okay, so let's try making the forehead a little bit taller. Let's turn on perspective here. I know things are low poly and it's kind of tough to see what's going on. I think maybe we could do a combination of making the head a little bit taller and also moving the hairline. There we go. Beautiful. All done. So maybe like, what I was thinking was just pushing this up a little bit. But then I'll have to adjust the sideburns as well, coming down. And maybe just connect those up to the beard. That probably makes the most sense. But I think that feels a lot better. Those couple changes, and then... What do you guys think about the roundness of the face? Do you think we should maybe just bring that in a little bit? Square things out just a tad bit more. Just a tiddly bit. I thought I already was. Well, there we go. Oh, maybe you were. I know it resets every month. Nintendo rescheduled. Oh no. Well, I hope it goes well today, man. Good luck. I want a company to fly me out for an interview. That's typically a pretty good sign. Means they're serious. Let me just do some breaking here. Don't look at the eyes for a second. Let's just see. You know what? I think I'll keep a little bit more of the round part of the face in there. I actually like the roundness that we are getting. Alright, let's head back. He has a slight caveman brow line. It is pretty flat. We could probably flatten that up a bit or make it a little bit more hard. We'll see. ZBrush is so crazy confusing for me. I'm curious if there is a cheat sheet out there for it. Yes, there is. It's called the documentation. I don't know where you are in your stage of studying and learning the software, but I do have a course on, there it is, on my Gumroad, gumroad.com/Follygon. There's a link below. If you're a little bit new, I have a quick start course that's a little over 2 hours or so. It comes with one of my base meshes, my materials, some of my brushes, project-based homework. I mean, the whole point of this course is to get you up and running in ZBrush as quick as possible and teach you all the things that I think are the most important. I also have some other courses on there that maybe are, like I said, I don't know where you are in your education, but I have some more intermediate and advanced stuff on there as well. But maybe that'll help you out. Like I said, there is some documentation on the Pixelogic website. Typically when there's like a new feature, I'll just, at this point, I know how to use everything I need, and then if there's like a new feature that comes out, I'll try that out immediately and maybe check out the documentation if there's something I don't really understand about it. Typically what I do when new features come out is just pull up the documentation and try to get this crusty out of my eye before I go blind. Aren't eye crusties fun? Little eye boogers? That's gross. But I'll pull up the documentation and just kind of run through the list of new features. I find that to be, pretty helpful so I can just stay on top of things. Other than that, there's a lot. There's a lot. I know it's a lot. I've been there. I know what it's like. Let's see. Caveman brow line, huh? Is that what we were thinking, maybe? Ugh. Ugh, smash. I definitely like the more pointed hit break there. That's very common in these type of characters. Let's turn off our eyebrows for a moment. Oh, you know what? Instead, maybe we can just grab some of the central point of the brow here. Pull some of that down, and we can keep the shape of our eyes while just changing the shape of the brow a little bit. This will also help me to flatten out the eyebrows a little bit more, which was something that I was trying to get a little bit more yesterday. I think that's starting to feel a little bit better. I'm in the intermediate stage of 3D art at this point, but most of my knowledge is in Blender and a little Substance Painter. I'll check out your course though. Thanks, no problem, man. Email them. Pixo guys are very nice. They absolutely are. Explain what you want to give. They would reset your demo period. Chunga chunga. Good old Chungus. The hottest meme from the hottest meme for like 24 hours. That's how they all work, right? A new cool meme for a very short amount of time. Back in my day, memes used to be super cool for like a year or years. Remember that Awesome Face or Rage Comics? Dude, Rage Comics were all the rage. Ha ha ha. I'm sorry. I haven't seen a Rage comic in forever. "24 minutes? Is that how long I've been streaming? It's pretty close. I want this plane break that I have here that's like wrapping up and around. I want this to essentially just fade out. So it starts off really tight. This is a little thing that's called edge quality. It's kind of a more complex version of when you make a stroke on your surface. You don't want the stroke to just go from, endpoint to endpoint, A to B. Same thing with drawing. You don't want just like the same strength and thickness throughout the whole thing. So you want a little bit of there's lots of variations that you can do on a stroke. But you want to, I try to like fade out my strokes a little bit more towards the end so that they blend a little bit better. And then in combination with multiple strokes, you can start to blend shapes a little bit more nicely than you could with, say, just a mouse. That's why we have pressure sensitivity. So like this is absolutely terrible. I could work like that, but it would not be fun, and it would take me a long time to do what I normally do. I also said that we should connect up our hair to our sideburns. That makes sense to my brain. So we should do that. That beard is pretty messy, so I think a good Dynamesh through here will do us some good. Good doing good. What am I saying? Alright. So let's grab our beard wherever that is. Oh, right above my hair. And then I'm gonna Dynamesh these together. Oh boy. And that's probably fine. Actually, maybe a little bit less in the poly count. We'll just leave that for now though. I might just extract this to get a little bit of a better result. I don't know if it's worth dealing with all the crappy geo I just Dynameshed out here. Maybe it's not that bad. Lifespan of a modern meme is about 24 minutes. Sounds about right. Those memes are still cool. I hate when, or I hated when, I like vividly remember when, I swear to God, this is not, I'm not making this up. My dad called me one day, and he was like, Ben, this sounds so fake. He called me, he was like, Ben, I need to ask you something. I was like, yeah, what's up, Dad? He's like, what's a meme? I was like, oh God, no. This was not that long ago either. Oh my God. I was just completely silent for a minute. I was like, oh no. What do I do? How do I explain? How do I explain this? Kareem says, where can I send you my Z-tool for live critique? Kareem, I think you sent me an email already to take a look at your stuff. But yeah, you can shoot me an email, and then we'll look at stuff on this Friday for the live critique session. Every Friday at noon EST we do live critiques. So throughout the week, people will send me stuff, and even during the live stream, people will send me more stuff to critique and check out. So the earlier you get that in, which I think you already sent me something, but the earlier you get that in, the more likely you'll be in the next one. So if anybody else is interested, type in !critique into chat. You'll see the instructions, and you can go from there. All right, what do I want to do here? I think I just want to try cleaning this up a little bit. Oh, there we go. Ariel just helped me out. Thank you, Ariel, for putting that in chat. Last thing for a major feature to help with likeness is that he has some pretty puffy cheeks that give his nasolabial fold a good amount of prominence, even when he isn't smiling. I'm not sure. It might be a combination of the lighting and major cheekbone there. Let's take a look. If anything, what I'll do that's really bothering me with the difference there that you just mentioned would probably be to pull in a little bit more here so that we can exaggerate that. For these types of characters, I pretty much always avoid really strong nasolabial folds or any kind of volume in that area. It ends up being very unappealing, and it really ages your characters. So if anything, I will exaggerate the amount of volume around the kind of cheekbone area a little bit more. He's got some pretty prominent cheekbones there as well. So I think a combination of those two things can get us in a good place. But I think once we start adding some color in here and working with the hair, ooh, we need to do a sweatshirt as well. There's a bunch we need to do, but think that will put us in a good place. But yes, he does have quite a bit of volume around that area. If anything, I might be able to get more of a plane change here, but I don't want, again, it starts to get into this pretty unappealing territory pretty quick. So maybe we can depress the volume in here a little bit more. I'll play with it for a minute, see what we can do. Let's turn off our mustachio. Yeah, I'm not digging the form change here. Let me see something real quick. Definitely too flat. Let me try rounding that out a bit all at once. And let me try, I think I've lost a bit of the volume through some of here, coming down. Let's just make sure we got plenty. That round part of the face there. It's a little bit messy when I do stuff like this, but it's easy to knock back. And where is that line? Let's see. A little bit more of a plane change right around there. Just make sure that we're representing this pretty well through here. And, am I okay with that dip in there? Changing our face a little bit here, so obviously the hair is not gonna align properly. There we go. I think that is quite a bit better. A little bit of a harder transition up here that I need to blend between. That crease up there. There's a star in the Polygon flow there, which is not good. But all right, let's fix a couple more things here now that we just pushed and pulled our geometry all around. Cool, cool, cool. Thinking about sending this in for some critique. What you got, man? There's no such thing as a, oh yeah, I think you shared this in the Discord, if I remember correctly. But yeah, man, absolutely. Feel free to send in whatever you want, and we can take a look at it this Friday. I don't know, do we want to add in Polypaint now, some color, get that rocking on our boy? Real quick, before we do that, I think that's fine, we can do that next. After, we do a little bit more with the sweatshirt. I started to block out a hood, like I said. I just have a little wraparound piece here, nothing too crazy, but we need an actual sweatshirt. So to do that, let's see. Let's take our body and do an extraction. I'm gonna turn off the hood, and I'll probably just repurpose these arms for the sleeves. So for the, let's see, for the sweatshirt, I'd want a little bit of a seam right around here. And that'll do. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Way too high of a poly count there. There we go. Alright, and then quick inflate. I'm trying to use my Z tool, my transpose line, to inflate a little bit more often. Let's see, so kind of poof out our body shape. And for our sweatshirt hood, I kind of just drew in a curve really quick and then pulled around on it with my move brush. I didn't really do too much with this. Let's see. Something like that. For now, we can maybe make some more changes to that after we work on the rest of the sweatshirt. Just get that headed in the right direction though. Yeah, let's make this kind of connective point here a little bit better. And like I said, I'm just gonna reuse the arms. Do a little inflating. And what I'll do the, I'm sure you guys have seen this little trick. Instead of giving him hands, I'm just gonna give him like a little pocket in his sweatshirt and he can shove his arms in there. We'll make that work. For the shape of the sweatshirt though, do I want to go, yeah, this is getting a little, it's looking a little thin. He's a scrawny boy, but sweatshirts are pretty poofy. We'll probably do some like secondary folds and stuff in this as well. But let me just sculpt up the volume a little bit more. And his body will be disappearing as well. I know it looks a little awkward right now. Do that little pocket real quick. I guess I can just extrude a quick little square, something like that. Already feels better after the cheek work? Yeah, I think so. Doesn't take much to change the feeling of a character. We have a lot more kind of volume going on in our face in general, but I think that's fine. I think that kind of leans in more to the style. A little bit more rounded, appealing shapes. Looks like the boy from the Unreal Kite demo. What does he look like? How old is that thing? Kite demo, kite demo. Let me see. Let me see this boy. Boy. So fast. I need a freeze frame on this kid. Where's your stinking face? The heck? Huh. Looks like a stylized character to me. Oh, wait. Here we go. Beautiful. You know, I don't think you're too far off there. There are definitely some similarities. Ugh, my brain. Want that one masked? Yes. You know what? Screw this. This is stupid. My smooth brush broken? What's up? Oh, that was weird. I'll just do this quick with the Dynamesh. I saw somebody do this quite a while ago. It's like, it's not a bad idea. I've done something similar where I've hidden hands in pockets so I don't have to make them. Ugh. Skirt. Beautiful. Could not be more perfect. Tentacle arms. Everybody knows that PewDiePie has tentacle arms. It's common known fact. Generally don't put a body under the clothing. Yeah, I mean, unless it needs to be seen ever. Like, doesn't matter. Alright, let's get away from tentacle arm here. Tentacle arm Joe. Let's also make this longer, because the elbow should be around the belly button-ish area. Here, I'm just going to turn this off while I get my arms into position a little bit more. Let's see. Let's work on this shape a little bit more. You need a naked body to get the proportions and the basic silhouette for your clothes. Not always. I mean, a lot of the time, if I'm making a character and I can, you know, save time by not doing that, I just won't. You don't need the body for proportions. It is definitely going to help you though, for sure. But, you know, the more you do it, the easier and faster you'll get at that kind of stuff. So, you don't necessarily need it. I wasn't planning on giving him a sweatshirt, and That's why I gave him a body, so he wasn't just like a floating head. This feels, I think this will feel, once we actually get it done, a lot closer to something that looks a little bit nice. So like, I'm pretty much just gonna keep the neck in there and then merge that down later on. That's about it. I'll leave perspective off for a moment. Stupid geometry. Trying to think of a more natural angle here, instead of being out so far. Oof. Back to our noodle arms, right? Here, remesh that guy. Make this a little bit easier to work with. I'm just trying to fill in a lot of the shape right now and make the sleeves look more like sleeves. And then what we can do is sculpt some folds on these later on. Probably not too much. Just a little bit. Get this little pocket fit on here a little bit more. Maybe we can do like a little, I know he has like a meme review sweatshirt, doesn't he? Maybe we can do like the little meme review. Redbubble, that's probably not his. It looks like somebody stole it. I know that's the correct placement and logo there. That looks like somebody took that and put it on Redbubble. Bravo for whoever did that. Because I'm pretty sure he doesn't use Redbubble. But yes, I might be able to find this and convert this into a vector, and then I can extrude that, or just make this a texture, either or, and just put it on the sweatshirt. Either one works. There's a cool tool, cool kid tool, in here that's called Text 3D and Vector Shapes. So you could import a vector and then extrude that to create text and that kind of thing. It's very nice. I use it a lot whenever I need text. We need this to be more open. Our little pocket. Probably leave that for now, and then we'll return to the arms and sleeves later on to do some more work. Ooh, there's some nice little holes back here. That's fun. I love when I got holes in my geometry. Let's look up at the hood again. Actually, just the way that this is transitioning into the form up here. Let's fix this. Let's clean this up a little bit, just to make that shape a little bit more consistent with where that would fall on the body. And just to make sure that our shapes are nice and clean. Subscribe to Polypainting. That's right. I do have a YouTube channel, and I actually have a new tutorial that I was working on this morning. And I think I'll probably have that done and uploaded for tomorrow, most likely. Drawing them in the closet. The amount of IP that people make money on Redbubble from is astounding. I mean, yeah, people make all sorts of fan art. You know, even fan art is like extremely questionable under copyright. But you know, just outright stealing stuff is definitely a thing on there as well. And not just Redbubble, you know, all those sites. Sometimes there's, so like in copyright law, there's one thing called the transformative property of copyright, that if you know, distinguish away from that property enough, or if you combine it with something else, you can, you know, you're within your right to profit from that thing. That's why a lot of people will do like crazy, like a super cartoony style of, what are they called? T-Turtle? If you guys know T-Turtle, they do all sorts of like copyrighted characters that they don't have the rights to. But they make them super cartoony, like super minimalistic, kind of like Funko Pop-esque, I guess is a way to describe it. And they don't reference the IP like verbally at all. So obviously it like looks like it, but it's transformative enough that sometimes they can get away with it. Nintendo is super protective of their properties though, so that's like one where you gotta be extra careful. Seems like Nintendo's been actually chilling out on some stuff more recently. I know they changed their rules on how people can stream and make videos and make profit from their content. Like even, you know, people who stream and make videos of stuff, you know, you're profiting off of other people's, you know, media. You didn't make the game, you're just playing it. And I guess you could argue that you're adding stuff to it with commentary and everything else. And I think that's true a lot of the time, but a lot of the time it's also not true. But still, you know, you are profiting off of someone else's work. So it's a gray area, right? Another one of those gray areas. Except for Mickey Mouse. Don't ever touch Mickey, guys. Except a lot of people do. Touch Mickey sounds weird. But a lot of people do, you know, old school I see a lot of the Steamboat Willie style artwork, and you know, obviously it's pulling from Mickey Mouse. It's all a crazy internet world out there. What if it's called Not a Batman figurine? Probably not a good idea. I am not a lawyer, but I'm gonna take a stab in the dark, like Batman would, and say that's not a great name for your figure. Especially since, like, depending on where you're trying to sell it, you're probably gonna get like some automatic. Like, people have bots crawling, searching for, you know, on certain sites, like Etsy and stuff, or Redbubble. So if you use even the term Batman, and it has nothing to do with Batman, you might still get hit with something. Just kind of depends, I guess. Not a Batman figurine. Not PewDiePie. Not PewDiePie merch. It's just a sweatshirt that says meme review on it. Definitely not. This is my own original thing. Let's see. Just trying to connect that a little bit better in the middle. Let's use move the back face. Sure. Alright, let's do some stuff with some Polypainting, and we'll return to this, because this looks a little janky, in my opinion. But let's do the Polypaint first. Oh boy, so let's start MRGB Zebra Paint material, and I am going to start by just sampling some basic colors here real quick. And this will all change, but just to get some poly paint on your figure right away, it's nice to do this. Let's see, let's just go for a white toy plastic for the eyeball. And I'm probably not going to get a super great sample on the color there for the hair. Let's see, maybe I can get something a little bit better. And we'll start with that, sure. That's not what we want to end on though. It's a little bit saturated. It's fine. Let's just keep getting the rest of this in here. All right, now we can start correcting some of our colors here. Let's just start with the face. So when I am poly painting faces, normally I'll use a very low RGB intensity and just start getting some of the highlighted areas. I think the base skin tone here is just way too light. This image is kind of super blown out. So let's see, let's grab some of the darker skin tone here and just start filling that in a little bit. I'm just gonna start painting away here. Whoa, way too strong. Gotta be careful along your symmetrical axes. Let's see if we can find a little bit of a better color here. Let's go for something a little bit more like that. We'll head more in that direction. If anything, let's move a little bit more towards orange. And I'm just gonna click on Fill Object a couple times. And there we go. That's getting a little bit closer to what I was wanting. So typically what I do when I am polypainting stylized character faces is I will start, you know, just blocking out the colors much like I did, and then once I'm on this stage, starting to fill in some of those, you know, more pink areas or highlighted areas, whatever you want to call them, places where the skin is thin and, you know, more blood is showing through or subsurface scattering. You can get a little bit of that, maybe some darker areas. Let me see this skin tone here. Let's see, sure, we'll do that next. Let me just paint in a little bit more. And then what I'll do is I'll probably just equalize the color on this a little bit, which is pretty easy to do. We'll do the same thing that we did just a minute ago. But let me get in here around our eye. We also need some eyelashes, don't we? So we can do that as well. And I think I'm really liking right around here, this color. So what I'm gonna do next is just turn this on, I don't know, we'll do like 15%, and then I'll click fill object a few times just to help equalize, you know, some of those highlighted areas were a little bit too red, and some of the darker areas were just a little bit too dark, so it's helping to bring that all a little bit closer together. And if I were to turn this up to 100% here and click fill object, you would see how much of that, you know, different highlighted areas that we're losing. So just to keep a little bit of some of that different value range in there, I think it's pretty good. And then for the lips, let me see if I can find a nice lip color. When you're, oh, that's pretty stretched in there, isn't it? So when you're polypainting on your face, you can kind of use your character as a little bit of like a palette. You can start figuring out that lip color that you want to go for. Maybe be a little bit lighter or a little bit darker. I think I'm just going to paint directly on here. Let's see something like this. And I'm just going to try finding a color that I like. Kind of liking that. So let's maybe go a little bit more. Here. Yeah, I think that's probably pretty close to what we'll do. I could probably even just fill all this in just on the lips there. Of course, there's some stretching out here though, so it looks a little silly. Let me blend that back out. Maybe that wasn't such a great idea. Let's take a step back. Isn't Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse coming up on public domain? I believe so, but it'll probably somehow get extended again. They keep holding on to that Mickey boy. I don't know if he's going anywhere anytime soon. Yeah, it's supposed to be like the life. Originally, it was supposed to be like the life of the creator plus a number of years, maybe like 75 or something like that. I don't know exactly, but Disney kept extending, vying to extend Mickey Mouse's copyright. I think there's like a new law, something along the lines of, like if you're still profiting from it, you're still, like, it still stays within copyright. It might be something like that, I can't remember. It's been a while since I've looked at it. Yeah, they can just keep getting Mickey forever and ever and ever. Deadmau5 was involved in a lawsuit because his logo looked like Mickey Mouse or something. That's stupid. I don't think Deadmau5's logo looks anything like Mickey Mouse, does it? Is it? Isn't it like MOSU 0? Or no, maybe not. Really? For that? I don't know if that's his logo or not. Let's see. Alright, so we need to blend the neck there into the rest of this, that's for sure. We could maybe just project. I don't know if the projection distance will go all the way there. I guess we can find out. Ooh, that's not good. Like, shrunk up in there. Some of that did connect, though. So, I can actually cheat this a little bit. Got an idea. Just because I don't want to... I guess I could, like, spend the time to just re-sculpt this, but instead, let's be a little bit more creative, maybe. Oh crap, no, stop. That's not what I want. This is gonna break. I screwed up. I only wanted this up to a certain point and the, yeah. Goodbye. I'm just gonna delete you. I never knew thee. I will redo you myself. Just resculpt it. Could just delete some of the geometry there. Really, it's fine though. This is pretty simple. Although it is kind of hard to see. And as long as the sweatshirt's covering up that, no one will ever know our deep dark secret. Oh man, that is grody. Alright, let's fix the rest of the polypaint on this guy, and then we can continue making some more sculptural changes. Alright. So for the facial hair, we will not do such a red color, I think. Thinking maybe desaturating that a little bit. And maybe making it a little bit darker. Let's see. Something like that feels a little bit closer. Maybe even less saturated than that. And then for the hair, let's try to get a little bit more of a lighter color here. Let's see. Let's just do maybe like 20% infill here. Maybe something like that. Maybe another hit. Yeah, let's go around right here. Let's try that. And can play around with this. Can even do some quick eyes just so we know that these are pointing the right way. I'll just paint in a quick mask. And then I'll just fill that in with, like, I guess black. Let's make sure Control W, nice and round selection, so that when we do this, oops, this isn't kind of a crazy warbly shape. I think my eyes maybe need to go a little bit lower. That's also why I do this. Helps me figure out placement for some objects. And we can also do some eyelashes. Eyelashes are always fun. Huh. Alright, so for the eyelashes, I'll just use a cube tube brush. You guys have probably seen this if you've been here before. They finally settled it and figured it out. Well, that's good. Let's see. I think I'm going to delete the... I'm going to turn on double. Oops. Delete, please. So it just makes it a little bit easier to work with a flat plane here instead of incredibly complex three-dimensional form. Not really that complex, but a cube tube brush. It's a really simple brush. It just makes a tube in a cube, and then you can manipulate it to the shape you want. In this case, though, it's just a little bit easier to work with a flat plane. And also make your material not black, so you can see what's going on here. My brush, I can't do anything. Why can't I do anything? Something is drastically wrong. Let me quick save. Is it a problem with my move brush? No. Oh, I know what's wrong. Of course! I always forget to turn off back face masking. Alright, so we got our polygons. Now we just need to line it up with our lid here. And we also need to make sure that they are rotating properly. You know, kind of just fitting that plane of the eye. Or eyelid, I should say. And I'll add in one more poly loop down here. Try to fit that a little bit better, and then we can extrude some thickness for our geo. Just get a close-up on that nose. Maybe we can put some nose hair in there. I'm also going to change, I think, the color of his lips. I think we went a little bit too pink there. A little bit too saturated. Alright, so extruding. Extruding is fun. Z-Modeler. And extrude all polygons. Let's go in here. And flip our normals. And the last step is just to crease your geometry. so that when you smooth it, it doesn't get all crazy like that. Let's just continue to shape this up. I do not actually have subdivision levels in this, it's more of just a dynamic subdiv. Actually, that's exactly what it is. Just so we can see what this looks like a little bit more smoothed. And after we match the shape here a little bit better, I think I'm going to move this edge loop here. So this is at the peak of the break there. I think that makes a little bit more sense. We'll just continue to shape this up, spend some time on it. Eyes are important, so it's important that they look good. And let's just turn on a black material for that, just to see how it's shaping up, see what it's looking like. Fill that in. Alright. I think that's looking pretty good. I think there are some tweaks that we can make though to push up a little bit further. Let's get in here a little bit more. And I'm just gonna probably make them a little bit longer in some areas. Get a little bit more thick to thin action here. Let's see, a little bit more thin down towards the corners, I think. And then I pretty much want that hiding most of the actual lid, just so it doesn't feel weird. And voila. Beautiful eyelashes in minutes. I'll be doing a makeup tutorial later today on my YouTube channel. Make sure that that's lining up with the lid pretty well. Cool. All right, so Polypaint, right? I think Polypaint makes a world of difference in terms of making it feel more like Pewds, but I think next, I don't know, there's a lot that we can mess with here. Let's see, let's do a quick save here, just so I make sure I have a backup of this. And I wanted to change that lip color. Ooh, oof. Oof. Let me fix that material. So if you're having some material errors like I am, just turn on material only, select your material and refill that in. That typically happens while you're stepping up and down through your subdivision levels and doing using any brush that has any of the material or Polypaint selections on it. Even the move brush by default has RGB activated, and that's typically what screws it up for me. Sometimes it will do it even without the RGB slider turned on. It's pretty annoying. So just try to avoid that by taking some time and going back through and refilling your material from time to time. Save you some headaches later on. I think the shape of the head from the profile is a little wonky as well, so we might go into Transpose Master and remove some volume back there. This feels like that silhouette doesn't feel super great to me. And we'll do some more work on the sweatshirt as well. So let's go into transpose mode, T-pose master. Take a Ganda at our head. And I just want to grab a big move brush, look at this head from the profile, and just reshape some of this a little bit. Hair strands, or are you going to do those later? I don't I won't sculpt on top of the hair, most likely. If anything, I'll do some hair tubes, but that's about it. Am I going to do color variation on the hair? I don't know. Probably not. Probably just like a block out color since it fits more with the style. So probably just a solid... you know what? I don't know. We'll see. Depending on how many hair tubes I do, I might do a little bit of a gradient or variation on each one of those. We will see when we get there. I really haven't given it too much thought though. More so just worried about the form up to this point, but now we got more to worry about. We got to worry about color and the such. Go away. Come on. There. Ugh, I hate that feature so much. Let's see. How big and muscular is this guy? Not that big and muscular. I'm thinking about making this just a little bit wider. Up in the shoulder region. And let me see. That starts to feel too squashed. Stick with that for now. And I definitely want to do some more work on this sweatshirt next. I was thinking for the lips I would just, here, fade this color out a little bit more. Whoops. Also the shape of our lips is pretty wonky, isn't it? Actually, just like looking at this now. Actually taking a second. What did oh, I didn't turn down the RGB intensity. I think I turned down the Z intensity on accident. Let's kind of fade that back out a little bit. Yeah, I think less saturation is definitely better here. He doesn't need super luscious lips. Oh no, that's such a bad selection here. Probably for the expression, you know, we'll keep it pretty simple. Just do some kind of slight smile. Slight smirk. Something along the lines of that. Let's see. We can at least get a little bit of that going now. Obviously we need to adjust this. In terms of the shape of the mustache, I think it needs to be shorter. And it's not really lining up with our face super well anymore. Some of this I need to just adjust in general, now that I've made some tweaks and changes here. But we, all in good time, right? One thing, one step at a time. Oh, and look at that. See all that material freaking out there? If I swap my material, it should fix that, but it still needs to be filled back in, which I will do in just a moment. Let's see here. Material, fill object. And then I just want to clean up the mustache and the beard Do some pushing and pulling around. Change some of the shapes that I'm seeing in here. Let's see, these feel like they could be quite a bit tighter. Best Arts, thank you, appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Animation at Night, welcome, and thank you for the follow. How are you doing? How goes the animation at night? See, I like the shape of that a little bit more. This is, see how it's kind of all over the place this edge is. Let's just clean that up a little bit. Get a nice clean swoop up through here, as well as on the front side. A nice line all the way down. That's feeling a lot more clean to me. Let's bring this out a little bit too. Alright, definitely feeling better. Our eyebrows are super hard as well. We got these like super tight creased edges. So a couple, you know what? I like that. Yeah, let's stick with that. Start to soften that form. Sure. Looks good to me. All right, and now for this is just terrible, terrible topology. Way too high of a resolution. Just lower that a bit. Goes well, trying to build a portfolio for Spark Animation Festival early in February. I'm not familiar with the Spark Animation Festival. It sounds kind of familiar. I'm probably just thinking of another event that's named Spark. Probably a pretty common name for events. Or at least events in the creative field. But very cool, man. How's it going? How's the portfolio building? Are we gonna make the deadline? That's the real question. It's all about the deadline. These kind of meet a little bit more in the middle, don't they? Well, maybe not all the way up, but just a little bit closer. And we'll fix our color and material again. Look, guys, Disney was not doing their part, so I'm filling in. I'm filling in for Mickey today. All right, and let's look at since we're kind of doing some stuff with the hair on the face, let's just look more at the hair on top of the head, as well as back here. My hairline, let's see, for the back of my head, a little bit more behind the ear, or lower than the ear. I'm gonna bring that down a bit more, and you know, that can be rounded. Whenever I go get my haircut, they're like, do you want it rounded or squared off in the back? And I'm like, I don't know, I can't see it. Use your best judgment. Go crazy. We're gonna add his soul patch under his bottom lip, a little bit right there. Oh, I thought that was more of just a shadow here, but I can see it a little bit more right there. Huh. You know what we could do? We could connect that up and just like pull the shape up here. We could make that a separate piece. That was more just following the shape of his chin. He's got a pretty strong chin line there. Let's see. Let's see if we can find a little bit of a better image. Maybe something a little bit better lit. Yeah, it's just very, very thin. There we go. There's the little square there. There we go. That's a good one. All right, let's try it out. Let's get like a little square pull out here maybe. I think I'll use the mask pen to do this one. So I can get a marquee select. At least at first. And let's see. How do I want to do this? Maybe just transpose it up a little bit, get that stretch going, and then pull that out to fit the shape. Let's see. Or maybe do that as a separate piece and just have that tapered down in. I don't know. Not sure if I like breaking up that curve quite this much. If we're gonna do this, I think it should be a harder turn. A little bit more squared off. So something more along, more along these lines. And starting to lose some volume here. This is just getting stretched out. That's always good. I think grab my move brush and just try to inflate some of this. It's a little bit more thin in some areas than in others. And I think I prefer it keeping this rounded edge here, and then if anything, what we could do, duplicate this, take this geometry, and just use this like little segment here, or just extract another piece. Either way, it gets does the same thing. Let's try, whoops, get rid of that. Do a quick little Dynamesh here and just reshape some of this up. This, okay. Making sure that that is not flipped on us. Being a little bit weird there for a moment. And let's just shape this up a little bit more. And then we can merge that down. Just so we can keep the nice curve that we have here without, you know, breaking the rest of this shape. I think I'm just gonna extract this because I want that to follow the shape of the lip a little bit better than what I'm getting there. So we'll just mask off right through here really quick and run an extraction. Looks like some of the poly paint here got a little messed up as well. Alright, we will try to make our little soul patch shape work. And I think that is a little bit closer to the shape than I wanted. Alright. Very, very strong chin. Unlike, what's his name? Leafy. I think that's who I'm thinking of. The kid that no longer makes videos on YouTube. He used to just talk over, like CSGO videos about literally anything. He would just have like CSGO gameplay in the background, talk about nothing, and then iDubbbz completely destroyed him, and the whole internet applauded. Good time. Alright, let's extract this. We definitely need that thickness a lot lower, 0.005-ish. Let's look at this from the side. More thin. Oh, I can't see my 0. Where'd it go? There we go. Perfect. Accept. Get rid of our mask. Get rid of our mask. Zebra paint, fill that back in. Beautiful. And now we can just merge those together. And seamlessly, we will have a beautiful soul patch. Oh wow, it's super low res. I am very quickly trying to clean up this edge before I merge this together, because that would result in some pretty crappy shapes going in there, sticking together for my Dynamesh. And then it's a lot easier to remesh on something this simple than it is to do the entire beard at once. All right, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's much more the shape that I was looking for. Cool, cool, cool. I mean, really, the seam between that is like barely visible. I don't really need to merge that together, but you know what? We're here. Might as well. Poor Leafy, right? Yeah. Everybody was very, very sad to see Leafy go, I'm sure. I mean, I, for one, was just devastated. Meh. I'll just stick with this Dynamesh for a while. I don't really need to change the form too much at this point. I'm just glad that it's a lot more cleaned up right now. Cool, cool, cool. So, what are we gonna do next? I think some more stuff up here on the hair, as we begin to shape this up quite a bit more. So there are a lot of options here. I will probably be using hair tubes. It's a pretty common method. So I typically start blocking out the main shapes of my hair, much like what I've done here. And then on top of that, you add additional pieces of geometry, or another method is to just take what you already have and slice it up and create separate tubes of geometry, or essentially hair clumps is another way to think about it. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of ways to go about this. I will probably just be, I don't know, would be easier for this? Probably just some additional tubes of geometry on top, and then we can keep both the block out plus the new pieces of geometry. I think that's a good idea. But before we do that, I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break. What happened here? Material's all screwed up. So, quick restroom break. Everybody else, get up and do some stretching, whatever you people do. You know what you need. And well, no, we gotta make this visible. I will be right back. Yay. Beautiful. Alright, I'll be back in like 5. Grab some agui, do some stretching, some calisthenics, you know. Alright. Alright, let's do some more sculpting. We're about to move on to our hair. Let's go ahead and do that. Grab our black and white clay material and also get rid of this. probably just to make sure we get a quick save now. I've come back from a break, and essentially the BRB or whatever I put on the forehead, or wherever I sculpt on the character, it'll get like baked in on a quick save, and then I'll go to reload that file after a crash, and it's like, oh yeah, this sucks. All right. So what were we gonna do? We're gonna do the hair tubes on top of the geometry that we already have. I think that would be the best way to tackle this. Some of this I think it's gonna be a little bit too thick. I think there's gonna be too much volume. So I think we'll deal with that after we just go ahead and get started here. So I think, let's try using the cube tube brush first. And I'm gonna go into curve functions curve modifiers, size, and adjust my size fall off here. Let's go somewhere around there. So now, essentially what that little graph over there does, as long as I have that size button checked, when I draw my tube, I'll get an error message. Now, when I draw my tube, I will get some taper. So maybe we can do a couple other things here to make this a little bit closer to what we want. Let's say, let's bring that Z intensity down a little bit more. And I'll bring this down a bit more too. Now, you know what? Let's go all the way, sure. Huh, it's not tapering exactly the amount that I want there. That's okay. Let me draw out a new curve. I think instead, you know what? I think I'm gonna use the curve tube snap brush, so I think I can get some better results out of these size here. Let me just try this once. There we go. That's more of the taper that I was looking for. Let's adjust that curve a little bit. Pull down a little bit more here. Yes, okay. Now we're cooking. All right, so we can close that, get that out of the way, and just go ahead and start drawing some curves. Do we want more of the hair falling in front of the forehead? Let's see. A couple images here. We could go for a little bit more of a thicker hairstyle. Where was that image that I was looking at before? This one's flipped, actually. I say, essentially I'm gonna break this up into clumps. So probably about 3 or 4 in the front. And then we can play with, so like 1, 2, 3, yeah, maybe about 3 or 4. All right, let's give it a shot. For the first one, we'll just start from the corner here, and I think I'm going to wrap all the way around, like so. Let's go a little bit higher. What's great about curve brushes is that you can start initially drawing it, much like what I just did, rotate your camera, and then that little red line there, as long as that's touching, we can continue the curve. So we can get that going a little bit further, so you don't have to get it on the first try. And then from there, we can adjust that curve. So I'll just split that off. And we can just start shaping this up. I'm just using my move brush. I've got stupid backface masking on though. My favorite and least favorite tool that I always forget to turn back off. Alright. And then as this comes down here, I want this to start following the flow of the hair a little bit more. And if anything, I think these are a little bit too inflated. So we can probably make the next few a little bit more thin. So let's do that. Let's grab our curve tube snap brush again. And draw out from here once more. Woof. Way too thick. All right, let's bring that down. I'm just adjusting my draw size. You can do this on the fly. And Get a little bit of a longer stroke, maybe a little smaller, and then you can lower your Z intensity. This will decide how thick that stroke is. So it'll start to squash that, as you can see here. It's squashing, and the way that it's squashed is dependent on how that's attached to the surface that you added that curve to. So I think that looks pretty good. We'll just save that one. And I think I will redo this one so that I can get a little bit more of that squash in there. Let's just delete that and try redrawing it once more. So this is a great way for, you know, doing hair. I do this for clothing, for stuff like belts, watches, anything with straps. I love this brush. It's an awesome brush. And it just has a lot of different uses. And it's pretty quick and easy to use. Typically, after I initially draw in the curve, though, I spend quite a bit of time, you know, adjusting these strokes after the fact. There's typically, you don't get it right, you know, on the first try. So a little bit of extra work. But where would be the fun in just having it, you know, work right out of the gate, right? No, that would be amazing. I wish that were the case. Alright, curve tube snap once more. Let's get maybe one more in here. Go around here on the bottom side. And we can even start getting some of them crisscrossing over each other a little bit. I think that's pretty nice. And because I took the time on the blockout shape of my hair, this, let me just solo mode that. This shape, and I've started to get like this plane break in here. Now when I draw my curves on that, they're kind of sticking to that flow. So it's helpful during your blockout, you know, definitely try to figure out the plane shapes that or plane breaks that your shape needs to have. So in this case, you know, coming out, if we look at the profile of this shape, coming out a little bit, and then right here, that's where the surface breaks and starts to turn back. So that's what I've done in an attempt to get these a little bit more shapely. And I think it's working out pretty well. Whoa, something's super laggy. And each of these tubes has their individual poly group, which makes this even easier to manipulate. If they do not have individual poly groups, though, there's a little quick trick that you can do. If you go down into your poly groups menu here, there is an auto groups function. There's a bunch of different functions in here, but the auto groups button will group anything that is a separate piece of geometry in that subtool. So I have 3 separate individual pieces of geometry. None of them are welded together. So each polygon island, which is one of the terms there for those being separated, is how it will polygroup that. So that's just like a quick little way that you can set that up. And I use that one quite a lot, which is why it's right here in my custom menu. I actually have a tutorial coming out tomorrow. I was talking about this earlier. Coming out tomorrow for how you can make a custom pop-up menu like that I keep pulling up really quick. It's not difficult at all. It's actually very easy, and I highly recommend people do the same. Use it all the time. I don't even think about it anymore. It's more of just muscle memory at this point. Alright, let's see. In terms of directionality, I think the direction is good, but in terms of the overall shape, let's see here. Let's turn off the block out there and probably make these not have quite as much volume. I think they're just a little bit too high. And yeah, I don't know. We'll play with this a little bit more as we continue forward. This one is feeling a bit awkward down through here, just the direction that this starts to turn. I might be able to just smooth that out very gently, just a little bit. What I like to do sometimes on these curve tubes is come through with your Z modeler brush, hold your space over here, space bar, do a quick crease edge loop complete, and then crease a few edge loops. And this will help give some nice breaks through there, so the shape starts to get a little bit more complex. I don't know if I'll do that here necessarily. Let's just keep them in for now, and then we can delete them later if we don't want to keep them. We'll see. Let's get a couple more fill-in shapes around here. So we'll get one going this way. You can also click and drag on these curves, which is pretty nice. Pull them along. And let's see. Here. You're gonna go up here for a moment. I'm gonna take a snapshot of you. Let's split this off and continue shaping this up. So because these are nice and low poly, if we want to do something like a gradient with the color of the hair between like this darker color, so we get like maybe a little bit more of a root color in there, all the way to the outside, that's pretty easy. There is a gradient color function in ZBrush, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I like to just do it manually. Looking great as far as the hair goes, but we're losing a bit of his forehead. We are. Has a pretty large forehead. Yes, I said he has a little bit more of a 5 head. Once we get some more hair tubes in here, we will take a step back and look at the larger shape as a whole, for sure. But for now, let's continue getting some more tubes of hair in. It's just kind of the nature of this process. If I turn on transparency, just because of the thickness of the tool, the embed of it currently is pushing it out pretty far. So that will be pretty easy to fix with our move brush later on. So I think we'll continue on here and then take a step back after a little bit. In terms of the rest of the hair, I probably won't do a ton of hair tubes here. Let's see. Let's merge together. And I'm not sure if I'm going to like those creases or not. You can, a quick little way to uncrease an object is come down into your geometry crease and then click on uncrease, and that should uncrease, or you know what, maybe not. Oh, there we go, there it is, uncrease all, that's what I was looking for. To uncrease all those shapes at once. All right, get a couple more hair tubes in here on this side, and then we'll look at the other side as well. We've been a little neglectful. Let's see. Maybe just do, keep making these so big. So let's try getting a couple in here really quick. And we'll have to do some moving for these as well so that the layering is working appropriately. And maybe like one more. And then let's split these off. Off for a moment. Let's see. A little bit better here between these two pieces. Let's bring this all the way down here to the root. A little break in our hair there. And mainly just kind of nudging shapes around right now. That's all Really 3D modeling is just pushing and pulling some polygons around. I know, very glamorous. I think kind of flowing through here right now that these get, you know, a little bit too much visibility from that front view. So what I would like to do is move these down and then move these up. And this will also help with our forehead a little bit right now. So we're not getting such a tiny forehead. Don't want the hair to cover up too much of that. Try to bring that all the way back up and get that just layering a little bit better. That's more so what I was aiming for there. Very cool. All right. Got the rest of this. Probably adjust some of this as well to make sure that that is not poking through. And let's look at the other side as well. I think the overall shape here is a little wonky as we get farther back here. Let me just, because I'm noticing this, let me take care of it now before we forget. Oh, come on. Come on, little buddy. Having some trouble pulling that up. Alright, let's look at the other side to make sure that we're working on this a little bit more evenly. Would I ever do a stream on hard surface techniques? Yes, absolutely. I actually did one pretty recently. Maybe like a couple weeks ago. Maybe like 1 week ago. Here. Share the link here in chat. It's just over on my YouTube channel. Almost 3 hours going through a hard surface tutorial, mainly using the Z Modeler brush and a few other things. But yeah, check it out. Lots of good stuff in there. Let's see. Start getting some more tubes on this side. Got our base hair. We'll delete our subdivs so that we don't get any issues here. And I don't know, these are going to be pretty small, I think. This brush keeps getting like these massive strokes on it. All right, let's just do a couple of these, I guess, real quick. Nothing's ever real quick. I say that, but it's never the case. No problem, Beefcake. My pleasure, man. Hopefully it helps you out. There's a lot to learn with that Z modeler brush, that's for sure. Oh, come on. Grab it. Come on. Between... I don't know what exactly was causing that. But that plus the quick save, it's like, Jesus, come on. Just move a thing. Just move the object just a tiny bit. That's all I need. Alright, let's realign some more of these chunks. Beautiful. And we don't want these all feeling exactly the same length. This is something that I see very commonly when people are kind of just starting out. I think this side is just way too thick. But, you know, if there's any kind of repeatable feature, if you want to do something like these tubes of hair or whatever, try not to make them all the same. I know it's easy to just like duplicate and pull something out, but it will, you know, even if it's not done well, even if there's just like a little bit of variation in there, it will make a world of difference for sure. Let's see. Give me this. I think this actually might have some subdivs that I can reconstruct, but that's okay. Hawk, what's going on, man? Made incredible progress. Well, thank you. Really, it was pretty much all there. Just Polypaint does make a world of difference. Just color. Color can really do a lot. But yeah, we did. We have made a lot of progress from yesterday. Here's where we started today on the stream. I know there's some weird stuff going on there, but you know, same basic facial shape. There was definitely some like squaring of the jaw and some other stuff going on there, and some changing of some other shapes, but small changes really do add up pretty fast. It's true. It is true. Drawing Z guides, remeshing to get a retopoed. Oh, did you think that the Z remesher guides were like perfect topology? That is not the case, unfortunately. But there is a topology brush, BT topology, there it is, topology brush, that you can draw out curves and actually make polygons this way. And then click to complete that, and it'll make some geometry at the thickness of your draw size. I think this is based on your draw size. Yes. So if you make your draw size 1, it will give you... Oops. It should give you... Why is it not... There we go. It should give you flat polygons, like just the one-sided polygonal shape. Yes, those are one-sided. So, little tip for you. It's not a super effective way to retopo a character, though. Ooh, my shoulder. From nothing to this is just mind-blowing. Well, thanks, man. Just a lot of time and practice. I don't know what happened to my shoulder, but my shoulder just, like, clicked, and now it hurts really bad. Ooh, sculpting, guys. This is my workout for the day. I know you guys look at me and you're like, how's he so big and strong? That's probably the first thing that crosses your mind. It's this. It's a tough job. Alright, let's correct a few more things down here on this side. I don't really like this angle too much. Just gonna push that up and out of the way. Try to get a little bit more, separation between these two shapes. Make sure that's not poking through anywhere. I don't really like that now. I think I'm going to redo some of that. Let me really quick do something here. I want to get that back to its original shape so that if/when I do go to redo some of this, I might end up making a little bit more of a drastic shape change. I might be able to just get away with changing where some of these kind of come out at a little bit. So it feels like there's some more variation here. Whoops. Alright. Continue to push and pull around here. I know, like I said, very glamorous work. I think hair is like one of the most boring things to watch, boring things to kind of even do, but it is super rewarding once you get to a little bit further in and everything starts to feel a little bit more like hair and the shape that you want, of course. I don't know. I don't think it's bad right now, I just don't think it's great. And greatness is what we're aiming for. For the shape over here, I think I'll cheat a little bit and just duplicate some of these. Just because it's a little faster than redoing all this. Redrawing out all those fun little curves. Just add a little bit more visual complexity there. I'm currently contemplating whether or not I want to do tubes for the entire hair or just more so the front, and then I can blend in the rest. It'll save us a lot of time. And I'll probably just be rendering this from like the front view or something. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do all the hairs? Or try to cheat it a little bit? Don't do your bursa ligament in? Oh no. That doesn't sound good. I don't know what the bursa ligament is, but it sounds incredibly important. Cut up the rest to get some separation. That's what I was thinking about doing for just all the hair, so that might be a decent in-between. Let's see. What would we do for our shape? Delete. Oops. Delete you. Let's look back here at this one. Probably want to do at least a few different segments. Something like that, and then we can add variation to how they terminate down here. I do like the general kind of curve that we have here, so I would like to retain that. It just obviously doesn't need to be quite that clean. Let's take a step back for a moment. And I'm gonna do some squeeshing, just so we can see a little bit more of PewDiePie's 5-head. I'm gonna see if I can get away with a quick, nope, probably not. Not even worth the remesh there. All right. Very quickly, I'm going to just help out our shape here where it's a little bit more warbly through some of here. And find some of these areas where the shape can just be simplified. I don't want like a super strong transition between that purple and orange Polygon tube. So maybe I can pull that up a little bit more here. Just to match that. This track is my channel's anthem. Which one is this? Minion? All I can think of when I hear the word minion is those dudes from Despicable Me. Everyone's favorite character. Sky is great though. He's got some really nice, just chill music. I like him a lot. He's a cool dude as well. He streams from time to time. You guys should check out more of his music. For sure. Faux show, faux show. Ooh, come on back. The last one? Oh, what was the last one? Now I'm curious. Crunch. It probably just appears in my playlist for my stream a lot. I don't specifically use any song, or I don't attempt to at least. Can you stream with Spotify? I mean, I don't see why not. You can stream with whatever you want, right? As long as, like, for me, I'm using copyright-free music, so. I won't get slammed with a copy strike or anything like that. Minions were funny, but making a movie about them was too much. Yeah, I haven't seen the movie. I've seen the Despicable Me movies, though. Those are pretty fun. I like them. Got some cool character designs in them. I like Gru's character a lot. It's got some cool shapes going on. But yes, making an entire movie about the Minions might have been a little overboard. I think you're right. Let's see what we got here for our hairs. Alright, I am just going to Dynamesh up a couple of these hair chunks, and then we'll go from there. And a much lower resolution is totally cool, so I'll probably just remesh these. Alright, so just to split this up a little bit more. Here, maybe like one more. Nah, it's fine. I'll just leave it. Oops, I think I deleted the other half of this. Get that back. Time for the gym. Oh boy, sounds like a good time. Have fun, man. Thanks for stopping in and saying hey. I will see you next time. Yeah, if copywritten music plays on Twitch, they'll mute part of the VOD, and on YouTube, they will steal your video. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on right now about, you know, how shitty the copyright system on YouTube is, and it's pretty bad. The automatic system, the automatic system is bad enough as is for, like, if you even get close to playing 15 seconds of a little bit of a song, they'll just, like, monetize your entire video, take all the revenue that you have made from it, or ever will make from it. Or if you're not even... if you even don't have ads on your video, they will put ads on your video. So that's fun. And then the manual copyright system is just like a whole nother garbage can of a mess right now. It's absurd. Ooh, come on back. Alright, so for these, let's merge them all together real quick. I've essentially just split them so I can get some separations between the different segments. And let's see. Get them even lower here. Maybe run a slight inflate. Oh, I didn't get them all, sorry. And then just, you know, inflate, smooth them out a little bit, and then what I'll do is just shape them up with my move brush a little bit. Pretty simple. This is one way that you can, you know, just do hair from the get-go. You don't have to use hair tubes like I did. You can just split up the shape a little bit and start manipulating your form that way. It's a pretty nice way to work too, because it allows you to focus on the big forms first, you know, your primary shapes, and then from there you can start getting a little bit more into the nitty-gritty. And then if you want to go for like some texture on top of this, then you can, you know, start getting your additional forms on top of that and continue from there. But yeah, I like working this way a lot. We're doing a little bit of a combination here. I'm just trying to get a little bit more breakup between some of these shapes, so that they're not, you know, just a perfect line all the way through. I think looks kind of silly. Where'd that go? Let me hide that for a moment, just so I can see what's going on here a little bit more easily. And do we have some floating floaters? Some floating floaters. Maybe a few. And then up here, let's just make sure that this is filling in the gaps a little bit better with our move back face masking. What is that? It's like a little speck right there. Just having layers with this makes this quite a bit better. And then you could inflate this. I'm going to continue using that move back face masking brush. Just get a little bit of a nicer crease kind of through here. Let's fill in our material and color. And I still think the strokes here could maybe use some additional cleanup. I don't think they're too bad, but we will look at those later. Let's do this last little hair chunk there. Let's see. I will do the exact same thing that I did over here. I just want to make sure that my breaks, like these lines here, aren't in the exact same spot. That starts to feel really awkward if you do that. So we'll do 1, 2, 3. I am the count. And 1 more, sure. Those are such similar colors. Holy crap. I don't know why it always does that. There should be something like programmatically that gives you more different colors. I think there's a tool that actually does that, if I remember correctly. It's been a while. Ryan's Tools or something? Ryan's Tools. I feel like there's a way you can do that in here. I remember playing with it at one point. It's not like it's hard to change, but normally I'm going pretty quick and not paying attention to the colors of my polygroups. I could see how that would be really frustrating for someone that's new, though. I can't believe you've done this. Yes, that's right, Brendan. I've gone into the deep dark pit of PewDiePie. He's coming along. We're working on the hair right now. Oh boy, such fun. Such wow. Alright, let me remesh these chunks real quick. Whoa. Let's go lower. I also wish that each subtool didn't remember your Dynamesh and ZRemesh settings. I wish it was universal for the program instead. It's kind of annoying. I know. First world problems. Alright. Let's get these merged up and then just adjust the break of our hair a little bit more similarly to what we did over here. Oops. Alright. Start with a couple subdivs just to give this a little bit more form. Kind of soften some of these transitions a little bit more so they're, you know, just a little bit more rounded between these areas. Looks a little bit nicer. Am I planning to send this to him after I'm done? No, probably not. I just thought it'd be fun to do. If anything, maybe post it on his subreddit. I think it's just called PewDiePie submissions, right? r/PewDiePie submissions. We shall see how good this end result looks. He's getting there. I don't think he's super great right now, but it's not terrible. Let's make sure we can't see any of that other color underneath. And let's try to get all this shaped up nicely together. Alright, let's see what we got so far. I think this maybe gets a little bit too noisy through here. I don't know, maybe I'll just turn those off completely and not use those at all. Or if anything, maybe just a couple of them. Let's see. Very creative sub name. Yeah, I know. I don't know if he even created it. I'm guessing he didn't because I don't think he's a moderator on it. I'm gonna make r/Follygon submissions, and that's where you guys need to put your critiques for now on, because the emails are getting actually a little bit tough to filter through. Are you going to add some thin flyaway strands? I don't know. Probably not. Probably just keep it nice and blocky. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see once we get a little bit further. We're getting a little bit long in the tooth here for our stream today. So I think I'm going to take one more pass on our sweatshirt. Make sure we don't have any last minute cues. And then go grab some lunch before my stomach eats itself. Alright. Let's clear that. And I'm going to turn off the poly paint here on my sweatshirt. I like this color a bit more. So here, let me save this guy. And let me import that real quick. Oh, I can't import that because it's a weird file type. Nice. Here, let me just sample this color then. 36, 40, 43. And then I'll edit that photo later so that I can import it and actually paint on the meme review logo. So I think I like that a little bit more than the purple. If anything, maybe we could blend between the two a little bit. Something a little bit more like that color. I don't know. I don't really mind either or. The purple just felt a little too saturated for my liking. But yeah, let's actually work on the body for a minute here, because it looks all sorts of out of whack. Let's see. Just how the hood is kind of framing the face here. I think we can be a little bit lazy on a lot of this. We still want it to look good though, obviously. I think what I'm going to do for the hood, might try merging down part of this. I don't know if this will work the way that I'm thinking it will. Or the way I want it to. Let's not do that. It's probably not a good idea. So, let's take a look at our arms, which are the kind of biggest offender right now. And I'm just gonna get some more volume in a lot of this. Probably merge these together. Whoops. Make it a little bit easier to see here with my sculpting material. Do a quick Dynamesh. And let's Z-remesh with keep groups on. This will give us a nice edge loop right around there, or it should. It's a little bit messy, so it might have some trouble. We'll see. It's taking a minute to think. Normally something like this, I think, would be a lot faster. That's beautiful. Alright, here. Let's just sculpt on this for a moment, so that we get a little bit better remesh. Give that a try. And then we can reshape our arms. Like I said, obviously way too narrow coming down through here. And I don't know, should I make the torso more wide? That's probably fine, right? Honestly, at this point, why not just add some legs? Alright, let's see. Let's bring our don't know. Do we want to bring those all the way in? I think so, because I don't want like a ton of breakup in the silhouette. I more so want this to be, you know, obviously the focus on the face. It's probably going to be like just rendered or something from like right there. I'll probably include all of it and decide where I want to cut that off at. We've done like 95% of our work on the face, and we're a little bit lopsided here in how much work we've done down here, so take a few minutes. We'll work on it for a tad. Try to get something looking a little bit better. Come on, there we go. Just looking at the angles here. It's all about the angles. Look at those beautiful arms. That's what I like to see. Nice and borked. Do I know why your ZBrush is lagging when you zoom in? There could be a number of reasons. Typically when I'm experiencing unnatural lag, the first thing I do, this probably wouldn't happen on zooming. On zooming in. You might just be a little bit too high in your polygon count. I would check down here under your dynamic subdiv. This is typically the first thing that I always check if I'm getting unnatural lag. Make sure that that is unchecked. And then I would also check on your document size. See how many pixels wide and high your document is. Other than that, I don't know. You can also look at your total points. It sounds like a poly count issue probably, but I'm not really sure. For something like that, that would be my first guess. Reminds you of Hot Fuzz. Which one's Hot Fuzz? Is that the one with the dude from Shaun of the Dead? I always mix up Hot Fuzz and the other stupid police movie that I can't think of. You have an Intel Core i5 7600 and it's doing it even with a cube. So you're starting a new scene and it is lagging when you zoom in and out. I'm not sure, man. I would contact the Pixelogic support and ask them for help. They're normally very quick at getting back to people and they're very helpful. You can do that on their official website, pixelogic.com. Really not sure though. Not, if I was playing around with it, I might be able to tell. Might be your GPU. ZBrush doesn't really use your GPU, like, at all. Like, at all. ZBrush, 0% GPU. And when I rotate and zoom, nothing. ZBrush pretty much just runs off of your RAM and your CPU every once in a while. having a faster CPU will make ZBrush run faster. It's not, I mean, you have an i5, so you should be fine. I don't like see anything wrong. Like nothing stands out there to me. So I doubt it's a problem with your CPU. It might be how many gigs of RAM do you have in your computer? That might be the issue. But like I said, it pretty much just runs off your RAM and your CPU. More so, it runs off your CPU when you Dynamesh, Z-Remesh, or use Sculptress Pro. There are a couple other ones, but that's about it for the most part. Yes, that's actually why I got into using ZBrush. I was originally playing around with Mudbox and was traveling, and I could not use ZBrush because my laptop couldn't run Mudbox. So I had to find an alternative. That's when I discovered ZBrush. My onboard graphics card on my laptop was not enough. But my laptop that's like 5 years old can run ZBrush, or 5 or 6 years old can run ZBrush perfectly fine. Actually, it's probably like, I got this, actually it's a lot older than that. It's like 7 or 8 now. Jeez. I don't really use it anymore, but it still works and it still can run ZBrush. I think I can probably get up to, in one subtool, probably around 6 million polys without experiencing lag on it. I actually installed more RAM in that laptop because it was really important to me for ZBrush. I have 64 gigs in this machine now, and I never experience problems. Not never, but I can handle a lot larger scenes. It's necessary once you start getting up in the hundreds of millions of polys. Super Troopers, that's it. I always mix up those two. Super Trooper is the one where the dude gets handcuffed to the toilet at the end. Alright. Delete a couple extra edge loops. Stop doing that. Come on. Really just simplifying the shape here. I think I'll just smooth out up here. That's not quite such a hard transition. This is if you work similarly to me, this is something that you really want to avoid when you're like blocking out shapes. And once you get past that point, but you want to avoid having really strong silhouette hits between your polygon islands. So it's important that that looks nice and clean no matter where that's connected. But this is going to be a pretty dark color applied to here, so I think we can just kind of stretch this up a little bit. We'll probably be fine. Won't have to worry about it too much. Dynameshing 6 million polys would be possible. It's actually a little bit weird. Dynamesh caps right around 4 to 6 million, and it just kind of depends on the subtool. It just kind of depends on the shape of the geometry. Sometimes you can get like, I've been able to get like 8 or 10 million out of Dynamesh on occasion. Just like, it's like I said, I cannot replicate it. Dynamesh works on the scale of your object in your scene. Everything in ZBrush works the best at about 2 units cubed. Sometimes scaling up your object affects how much resolution you can get out of Dynamesh. On some rare instances, scaling down your object can give you higher resolution. It's a little finicky sometimes. More than a little. Alright, let's apply that color back here. And I think we will continue working on our sweatshirt during our next stream. I think that's going to be a good place for us to hit pause on our sculpt. We've made a lot of progress today. I'll very quickly load back in where we started this morning. If you guys joined us yesterday, you got to see me sculpt this up from scratch. We just started with our good old pal, the sphere. And then by the end of our stream yesterday, this is where we were. Still in the kind of blockout phase, but now we're starting to get some, color, texture, everything else on there. So it's starting to feel more like PewDiePie, obviously. But yeah, that's a great place for us to stop for today. Again, thank you guys for coming and hanging out. As always, I'll just really quickly shout out here. That was a loud bang, and that was a loud slap. Gumroad.com/ where is it? /Follygon. There's a link down below to all my stuff. This is the one that I appreciate you guys checking out the most. I got some tutorials on here, courses, brushes, materials, base meshes, my UI, all the stuff that I use here in ZBrush to do my work. If you guys are interested in that, again, gumroad.com/Follygon. I would appreciate it greatly if you checked it out, or maybe even just gave it a share. Other than that, I don't think we have any last minute questions here. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll be streaming at noon EST, and then on Friday, same time, we will be doing the live critique stream. So if you guys want to get some stuff critiqued live on stream, send in your stuff to follygon@gmail.com, and we will take a look. I'm very quickly stalling. Stalling as I find somebody to shoot a raid. Anybody cool online doing some 3D stuff? I feel like it's so rare that I find another digital sculptor streaming at the same time that I am. Devil Dawn, thank you for the follow there, man. Appreciate that. Again, back tomorrow, noon EST, and then Friday, same time, live critiques. Alright. I see somebody doing some drawings. Everybody's just drawing. No 3D. Dang it. Alright. Let's shoot a quick raid this direction. No problem, guys. Alright. Cool. You guys have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you next time. See you guys.